So, without further ado, Mr. Patrick Bateman.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you to HR and everybody for helping get this organized. I really appreciate it. Welcome to your first accent training session. Yeah. So first off, my name is indeed Patrick Bateman. I am an American accent coach. I'm host of the Accent Training Podcast. And I'm author of the American Pronunciation Handbook, just a nice little training guide I've put out to get a handle on the American accent in 3 weeks. Here's why I coach the American accent and not just general English. Well, you know how sometimes you get on a call with one of your American colleagues, and no matter how much you've trained, no matter what script you're following, the words just aren't connecting. And in the end, you find that you turn a 5-minute quick fix into a 45-minute situation. What you want is to communicate your point with efficiency, of course. That's what we're all here for. And I help Spanish speakers develop the sounds and patterns of the American accent so that you can connect with Americans the way that they listen for. And this means that you are going to express yourself in English just as confidently as you would in Spanish. Here's how we're going to make that happen today. There's 3 pillars to American accent training that we're going to cover. First off, clear pronunciation. We're going to work on how you project your voice so that people can hear you in a way that is familiar to them. Holding your listeners' attention. There's certain patterns, intonational patterns we'll say, that have to be adapted if you want to hold people's attention confidently. And then key American speech sounds. Honestly, a major misconception that people have when they start working with me is they think, okay, we're going to get right into all the sounds, that's going to get the job done. I need to learn the R sound, the TH sound. Those are tough, but it's not the highest priority. The highest priority more focuses on projecting your voice and giving it shape. And then we can start to look at the articulation of all the little sounds. It's very difficult, but we're going to make it happen. All of this together develops clear communication with Americans. Now, if you think about it, with Spanish in the first place, how did you learn your Spanish accent? When you were a baby is when this all really began. Everybody began adapting their native accent when they were babies. Specifically from like 4 months of age is the average time when kids start repeating the sounds that they hear. Now, kids can do this from about 4 months until puberty. And so puberty is when your brain focuses its energy on developing other areas. Of course, your body's growing and you gotta shave and do makeup. Your language skills, you can still learn them, of course, but it becomes less natural. You got to force it a little more. And then between puberty, we'll say 11 to 14, until the age of 25, well, after 25, it stops. Now, it doesn't stop completely, but the difficult thing is that the natural learning stops. Kids pick things up naturally. They hear you, they repeat you, and they can get the sound really good. Adults don't stand a chance at doing it that way. It can start again in American English. You can start again in any language, but you have to take things one step at a time. You can't try to focus on just listening to a Friends episode and shadowing every single word that they say. It's way too much linguistic information. We have to take things methodically if you want clear communication with Americans. The first pillar, we're going to get into this right now, jumping right to it, projecting your voice from the belly. Now here's the trouble. Spanish speakers use their mouth muscles with a lot of force when they're speaking. Por ejemplo, si hablo así en español, uso mi boca diferente que en inglés. And it's just because the vowels are shorter and the consonants are stronger. The diaphragm, we'll see in just a moment, is like a gas pedal that pushes air out as you're speaking. I'm using it right now. This way we move the voice from the force being here in the mouth to down here in the belly. So to master the American accent, you've got to speak with your lungs and your diaphragm working together. Now we're going to make this happen actually right now. Like I said, interactive training, folks. So do this exercise with me to strengthen your voice with air and engage with the diaphragm. So everyone's got to sit with your shoulders back. This gentleman just did it, good. Everybody, shoulders back. And what we've got to do is breathe in through the nose, and we want to put all that air in the belly. In fact, if you even put one hand right where your ribs meet your belly, breathe in through the nose and feel that your stomach pushes out. It has to push out and then out through the mouth. That's it. Let's get 3 deep breaths, just like that. In the nose, out the mouth. 2 more of those. 1 more. That's good. That's using your full lung capacity. Normally, we just take short, shallow breaths, but we got to use all of the lungs here, folks. Now, when we apply that with a little bit of voice projection, then we get some clear sounds. So as you project your air, let's get 1 more breath in, and as you project your air this time, we're going to make this kind of tongue position, which has your tongue kind of low in the mouth. And it sounds like, Can I hear that from everybody here? That's it, that's it. Notice how it's not just You know, it's not short, but it stretches right out. Now this sound is this same one that we hear in this very important place that we're in right now, chub. Now let's get this straight real quick. If we get chop, if you get this too short, it's going to sound like an O. It's going to sound like chop, chop. That is the most common difficulty for Spanish speakers. So let's stretch it out, pushing the voice out. Can I hear again? Chub. Chub. Nailed it. Yes, that's it. So that's the sound we're making. Now, here's an essential point. I mentioned this before. I'm going to repeat it again maybe a couple more times. Consonants, like N, T, R, P. In Spanish, for the R, you get that R. It's real strong, like I said. A lot of mouth muscle force. In English, R. It's a lot softer, right? Keep the consonants quick and quiet, soft in the mouth muscles. Vowel sounds must be strong, projecting from the belly. A, E, O, So I came up with specific words that people working in tech need. Now, when we put that clear projection into the vowels of these words, we get, and repeat these after me, data. Data. Easy one, right? Notice how we're not getting data, but it's a quick, quiet, it's like an R suave, right? Data. Very soft, very quick. Setting. Let's hear that. Setting. Perfect. And the following? Later. Later. There we go, there we go. Again, not setting, later. Push the vowels out. That's the first step here. And honestly, that's where about 80% of the results of accent training come from. Your words will sound incomplete to American English speakers if you aren't projecting your voice from the belly. If you're getting the consonants too strong and the vowels too short and weak, it's going to confuse the listener and it's not going to be clear. You will not speak with authority and you won't connect with your listener very easily if you're not understood. If you confuse them, then they're going to feel like they're the one that's in charge. And of course, when you're helping them, you are the authority on the issue. Project your voice from the diaphragm to speak with authority. Rule number 1. Now, I've got a couple of great resources here for everybody. Like I mentioned, the Accent Training Podcast. I've dedicated the last 4 years to this thing. Episode number 182 has a great audio lesson, which I'm going to provide a resource package for everybody, of course, so you can check that out and practice this, start engaging with the diaphragm. And then the other one here is this guy, Wim Hof. Has anybody here ever heard of Wim Hof? Raise your hand if you heard of him. Oh, you know Wim Hof. Oh, good. Not more or less, eh? Yeah.
Crazy guy.
Crazy guy. Yeah, they call him the Iceman. This is how he runs marathons in the Arctic, actually, in his shorts, barefoot. Okay, this guy's wild. He swims under the ice, But the point is, he has a breathing method which strengthens your lungs. It builds your lung capacity and it enables you to power your voice more naturally. So that's something, again, I'm going to provide that to everybody. It's a quick 10-minute breathing exercise. It's just oxygen. It will improve the rest of your day. It improves your health and everything, and it does grow your lung capacity and strengthen your voice. Adapting emphasis patterns used by Americans. Now, this is highly important because Spanish speakers don't hear, or at least they don't know how to adapt the emphasis patterns that hold Americans' attention. You can get all the right words. As you've seen, you may have spoken to your American colleagues, supporting them with a script. All the words are correct, but they're still not following. Words communicate 10% of what you're trying to say here. Words are just the logical information. Emphasis communicates reason and understanding in a situation. We need to make sure we've got clear emphasis so that we're drawing people's attention to the right place and we're communicating reason effectively. A Spanish speaker who hasn't taken my training may say something, putting, again, more power onto the consonants, and they may get got the keys, or something like that. Sorry if that doesn't sound right to you. They're using emphasis. They're peaking the voice up on all of the words that they're saying. Whereas an English speaker is going to get something more like this. Got the keys. I got the keys. These words are quick and quiet. Keys peaks up and comes back down. That's the important thing here. Now, just like how this structure peaks it up right there, notice how I even do this all through this presentation. The words that I want to draw your attention to, I make white. The words that are a little bit less important details are yellow. That's because your eyes are going to go to the white one. We do this when we're speaking. I just did it right there. We do this when we're speaking. My voice peaks up when I want to emphasize a certain word. It sounds like this, and this is the next thing everybody's got to do. So getting, once again, a good breath in through the nose, into the belly. Let's get this. That's it. Now that's just the flow of things. You can't pick up the phone and say that, you'll get in trouble. But this flow in general is going to communicate the words that you want to say. There we go. See, these are phrases you guys are familiar with, right? Let's hear this. Change the security settings.
Change the security settings.
I needed water.
I needed water.
Good, very good. Now, let's go back and forth. Can I go back to the previous, briefly here, consider this real quick. We just saw, actually, when this just skipped ahead, water was emphasized and needed wasn't. This is to say there isn't one special word that needs to be emphasized when you're speaking. It could be any word. It depends on the context. It depends on what you want to draw their attention to. So yeah, we had that, I needed water. I needed water. The logic is the same words, but completely different meanings. So when we get, I needed water, it's like saying I was parched, my throat was bone dry. Whereas if we were to change that, I needed water, not coffee, not Coca-Cola, water. Different in understanding of this. So the point is here, whether it's I needed water or I needed water, emphasize one word, the word that you want to draw people's attention to most, and you will hold their attention better, and you'll communicate your message effortlessly. Now, back to the Spanish intonation. Spanish has a different pattern when you're speaking. It's something that I'm honestly still working to develop myself, but if you listen to a Spanish speaker in English, they may say something like, I fixed the issue. I fixed the issue. All of the words to American ears are sounding emphasized. Everything is strong. That's going to communicate, leave me alone. I fixed the issue. Just stop bugging me. Stop emailing me. And we just change that a little bit, and we play with the emphasis. We get this now. I fixed the issue. Let's hear everybody say that one now.
I fixed the issue.
Not bad. Okay, I'm going to be picky here for a sec, folks. Everybody did the same thing, and this is okay. Check out how the voice fades off on the ending there, right? I fixed the issue. It's not just issue, but issue. Can I hear that once again? A little more fading on the end. Let's give that a shot.
I fixed the issue.
Yes, that's it. Now this is communicating more. I hope it helped. Let's hear that. I hope it helped.
I hope it helped.
There we are, there we are. That is the same words, the same logic, but you're going to get a very different response from your listener if this is how you say it. So emphasis for statements, emphasis in general, very important. Even with the correct words, you will confuse your listener if the emphasis is not clear. It's essential to raise your pitch for the most important detail that you want to communicate here. It must be happening. Now, I've got more materials for everybody to keep practicing this. As I mentioned, resource package is going to be available. Number 169 of the Accent Training Podcast, I put out speaking specifically to the difficulties of Spanish speakers and Russian speakers. So that's number one. Number two, this is an exercise that I provide to all of my clients, and I'm so happy that I'm going to be able to share it with you folks. This is an exercise that is going to help you start listening for the emphasis that Americans use. So you can watch a TV show, movies, podcasts, and like I said, if you try to shadow everything that they do, you're going to take on way too much linguistic information. It's overwhelming. But if we focus on just the emphasis when they're telling jokes, just the emphasis for a sad or a serious statement, that's how you'll be able to pick it up. Now our third pillar is about adapting American sounds. This is very important because as we saw in the beginning, the word chub, if you don't get the American sound and you get chub, chub, you're going to confuse people here. So here's what we want to focus on. Vowel sounds. Now, a lot of people start with me and they say, oh, I struggle a lot with the R sound, the TH sound. And I say, oh, okay, those are some of the most difficult things to articulate in English. R is the most complex position, actually, and it takes a long time to really get the hang of it. Vowels, however, every single word has at least one vowel sound, right? So if you focus on, I recommend like at least one vowel per week. There's 16 different vowel sounds. Would definitely help you open your ears to these sounds and get you working on them, get you applying them a lot more effectively. So 80% of the time, we're speaking with vowel sounds. 20% of the time, we're speaking with consonants. I like this 80-20 rule. I use it for everything I do. Here are the two highest priority sounds. First off, we've seen this one. Can I hear that again? Lots of voices. Nailed it. Now, that is the resting tongue position for American English speakers. When we're not thinking about anything in particular, we make this sound. Spanish speakers actually do the tongue a little higher up. No sé qué quiero comer. It's a little higher up, right? And so the difference there is your resting tongue position is up here, mine's down here. Speaking in English, we gotta lower that down a little so that you're not using the Spanish articulation, the Spanish position. We've gotta control it. So that's the most important sound, the most frequently used sound in the American accent. The other is the sound ah. Can I hear that one from everyone? Ah. Easy enough, easy enough. The only difference is just the tongue raises up in the middle and you open your jaw a little bit wider. Ah. Let's hear both of them. Ah. Ah. There we go, there we go. Like I said, it's going to feel a little silly. It's going to pay off, though, big time. Now, putting these sounds into some common words that you folks actually need, Can I hear one more time to make sure we got this? Could I hear chub?
Chub.
Good. Bug.
Bug.
That's it. Another one? We've got update.
Update.
If your voice is too short, you'll get bug. Update. Stretch it out. Give some power to that vowel there. Very good. And now with the ah sound, can I hear launch?
Launch.
Yes. Notice that's spelled with an AU. Your brain, I know everybody here, your brain's not telling you to say launch. Your brain's saying lounge, right? Going ow. AU spelling actually gets that ah sound. Audio, audit, launch. Very common. Next up, we've got prompt.
Prompt.
Very good. Different spelling, same sound. Same sound. And the one after that, we see install.
Install.
Nailed it, nailed it. This is why I prioritize this vowel over other vowels. Specifically because it has different spellings, but it's always making the same sound. That means it's a great habit for you to pick this up and for you to strengthen how you project your voice when speaking in English. You focus on one sound with many different uses. We can see a lot of progress in a short time. So those are the two highest priority sounds. Let's hear them one more time from everybody. Got it. All right, we're getting it. We're getting somewhere here. Now we're going to compare them a little bit. You know, these are what we call minimal pairs. Words that people typically mix up because the spelling is similar, but the vowel is totally different. So could I hear now, bug, bog?
Bug, bog.
Good. How about ah? Cut. More power there. I was getting a little weak. More power. Now we're cooking. How about cut, cod?
Cut, cod.
Yes, yes. And notice how, once again, O spelling, AU spelling. These are the same sounds. These are homonyms. They make the exact same sound, different spelling, however. So, when we put that into some sentences, some real life usage for you folks, can I hear now, it looks like a software bug?
It looks like a software bug.
And I'll run an update.
I'll run an update.
Yes, very good. I'll follow up with you.
I'll follow up with you.
After we launch the backup process.
After we launch the backup process.
Once again now, I'll follow up with you after we launch the backup process.
I'll follow up with you after we launch the backup process.
Okay. I'll cut the storage load.
I'll cut the storage load.
And that should solve the problem.
And that should solve the problem.
Okay. Good. So putting those into some real sentences is the key. What we've seen here today are kind of the 3 steps I take everybody through. First, we work on getting that voice projected clearly. We give that projection the correct shape that people are, tuning in for to catch the key details. And then we can work on the specific sounds. Now those are just 2 sounds, pretty easy ones. There are way more and they get progressively more difficult, of course. But to start things out, if you were to start listening and repeating those particular sounds and you were to change those Spanish vowel sounds from run to run, then we're going to get more of an American sound. And that's going to connect better with your audience. That's the key. Now, some things that I've got for you. Now, I've worked really hard on this one here. The American Pronunciation Handbook. Now, what good is an accent training book without audio, right? You can't read an accent. You got to hear it. And so that's why episodes number 193 to 197 of the Accent Training Podcast are all focusing on me reading specifically the American Pronunciation Handbook. So take a look at that book. I'll send it out. Give those a listen. And this will give you a good foundation of sound. It's not going to teach you the whole American accent, but it's going to give you a great foundation to keep building upon. Those are the three main things I wanted to make sure everybody here can understand. We've got clear pronunciation, highest priority. We've got holding your listeners' attention, using emphasis to make it happen. And then finally, key American speech sounds. You take those one step at a time, and then you've got clear communication with Americans consistently. That's what's essential here. That's what we all need. Now this kind of brings us to wrapping things up for today, but I want to make sure everybody knows how to keep training. Because everybody who's listening right now knows you didn't just adapt an American accent in the last 45 minutes. So here's what happens next. I've got available for everybody here my gift to Chubb employees to keep training. First of all, for a great little training package to kick things off. This is full of video lessons that I've made myself, written content that I've also made, and it's just a 5-day training plan. A lot of people, when they start working with me, they say, okay, so how long a day should I be training for? How long should I be practicing? And it's not about practicing for an hour a day or a half hour a day. It's about training specific tasks to let your muscles adapt. The key here is not a time limit, but it's the amount of repetitions that you can do. That's what it really comes down to. So this is why I don't say 20, 30 minutes a day. What I say is the more frequently you do this, the more efficient you're going to become. And the more efficient you become, the quicker it's going to be. So check out this plan. It's just got 2 simple tasks every day. Again, I'll make this available for everybody so that you can just start picking this stuff up and start applying everything that we've trained here today already. You got to make sure to follow the Accent Training Podcast, folks. You got to be following the Accent Training Podcast, or else this whole presentation was a waste of your time. Honestly, and I'm not here to waste anybody's time. So you can find me on Spotify, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Apple Music, whatever you like. But the point is, follow the Accent Training Podcast, because I'm going to be putting out 2 accent training episodes a week, except for this week specifically because I'm busy. But I'll have 2 more out next week. And I'm going to be hitting over episode 250 before the end of the year. So the sooner that you get on this, the sooner you start training, and you will begin adapting these sounds and patterns. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, because on Instagram, I put up videos, at least, we'll say 3 to 5 reels a week. And what I do with those reels is I pick out a specific word, usually a word from one of my classes that somebody was struggling with, and I just break it down, and I tell you exactly how to project your voice with it, how to put it into context, and how to use it. And I do it all in about 30 to 40 seconds. So follow me on Instagram. You can keep training there. And of course, if anybody here, if you feel that it's really important to you to have clear English, to be able to express yourself in English just as confidently as you do in Spanish, send me a DM. We can discuss one-on-one training together. We can discuss group trainings. We'll see what's most appropriate for you folks, what fits your own lifestyle. And I'd like to say thank you for everybody for listening today. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for having me. It's such an honor to have the opportunity to share this with everybody live. I'm so happy for it. So thank you. Now I know this gentleman had maybe you're about to run out. But any questions? I'd love to, spend, if we've got a couple of minutes. I don't know if we got five minutes. Okay. That might be enough for a couple questions. Who wants to go first, if anybody has a question? You're good? Yes, sir.
I know there's a popular word that a former president didn't get it right. But where the emphasis would be on the word infrastructure.
Oh, good one, okay. Infrastructure. So we get the in strong. All the other syllables got to be down, lower. Now that's not necessarily emphasis, that's what we would call syllable stress. Another part of the structure of speech, but infrastructure. And notice, okay, there's an R in the spelling there, right? Like it's spelled like infrastructure. We just take that R right out of there. No need for it, it's a waste of space. Infrastructure. And that's, I hope that helped with that one. We'll get to wrapping things up then. If there's no major questions, nothing pressing you folks today, I'm really honored to be here, and well, I hope to be invited back sometime to give you folks another accent training session. Thank you for having me.
I don't know, maybe, Gaby?
Yes.
Gracias.